Hey everybody, welcome back to Horror Trans. My name is Stephanie Bree. I am a transgender woman and I talk about all things horror. And today we're tackling the 1990s Bram Stoker's Dracula. This is the one with all the celebrities. Christina Ricci, um, fucking Keanu Reeves, um, everybody. Gold, Goldman, Gary Oldman. God, I couldn't remember his name. Fucking everybody's in this movie. So, if you've never seen this interpretation of Dracula, obviously I'm gonna go spoilers. But also it's based on the book, and it's a reinterpretation of the same story that has been retold a bajillion times. If you've ever seen any vampire movie or ever played any Castlevania video game, you're at least marginally familiar with the Dracula legend. At least marginally. So, how faithful is this to the book? I don't know, and I don't give a shit. I've never read the goddamn book. How faithful is it to the classic Universal Bela Lugosi Dracula? Not at all. They're two different movies. This movie tells basically the same story outline, the same characters, but it's a totally different version of the story. It's told differently. Now, pros and cons. I don't do that a lot on these reviews, and I want to try to get better. I don't want to just like say, yeah, I love it, blah, 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 or I hate it, don't watch it. I want to give you some meat and potatoes to these videos. So, stylistically, this movie's beautiful. Anytime I'm impressed with the cinematography, I'm going to mention it. This movie has fantastic cinematography. I will give it that. I am not a fan of and I'm going to be honest, this is a con. I do not like the aesthetic of this film. It looks like it was made in 1991, 92, thereabouts, but it looks like it was made in 1946. Only they somehow half ass colorized it. So it actually looks like a movie from the 40s that was colorized. It doesn't look like a proper movie from the 90s. That's a strike against the movie. I know it was a stylistic choice. It's sort of a reference to the old movies, but it doesn't look like a movie from the 30s. So it's not really referencing the Universal Dracula. I don't know what it's referencing because in the 40s it was Dracula and Friends Meet Abbott and Costello. And why would you want to reference those movies? Those are not serious horror movies. Those are goddamn comedies. So I don't understand stylistically what this movie's going for. Now, story wise, it's a beautiful story almost, but it's also half tragic. It is, but also convoluted. There are a lot of fucking plot holes, and I don't have the time or patience to poke holes in all of them. There's just a lot of fucking questions that maybe they answer if you read the book, maybe they don't. I don't know, but I shouldn't have to read the book to know what the hell is going on in the movie. And anytime I watch a movie based on a book where something doesn't make sense and the response is, oh, they explained that in the book, then you failed as a filmmaker. I should never have to read the book to understand your movie. The reason you're making a movie is I'm not, I personally do read books, but movies are for people who either don't read books or people who don't read these books or whatever. The reason you're making a movie is for someone who never read the book. Um, that's the number one reason you make a movie. The number two reason is you want to adapt the story or whatever, the theme or whatever, to film so you can reach a different audience. Again, an audience who most likely hasn't read the book, or fans of the book who are looking for a new interpretation, just for a different perspective. That being said, this movie fails because if I have questions at the end of this movie, I've got questions 30 seconds into this movie, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I shouldn't be asking, is that in the book? How did the book tell? I shouldn't have to ask that. I shouldn't have questions. I shouldn't be left with questions 5 minutes into the movie, 10 minutes into the movie, 30. You're supposed to be answering my questions, not making it more complicated. So this movie fails on storytelling. Um, Now, acting, uh, 80% of the actors in this movie, I'm gonna say, give it their best. These these portrayals come off to me as, you know, I'm gonna say thespian level acting. This is what you want to see. I was a theater major or minor in college. I love the theater. I love cinema. I love film. Cinematic storytelling. There's a lot of really good on the nose acting in this movie. However, there's a black spot on the acting in this movie, and we all know who it is. It's goddamn Keanu Reeves. He should not have been in this movie. They literally took whatever Bill or Ted or whatever his character was from the time travel movie and stuck him in Dracula, and he literally looks like he's walking around confused the whole movie, like, what movie am I in? Like, he thinks he's making Bill and Ted's uh Abbott and Costello meet Dracula type movie, and everyone else is in a Dracula movie, and he's just in another fucking episode of Bill and Ted. He is miscast and he's out of place. The $1 million question: is it a good movie? Yes, actually, I have issues with it, but it's still a good movie. I enjoy it. This is one of those movies. It's artful, and I appreciate an artful movie. So this is one I like to savor. To me, it's a movie that you want to enjoy sporadically so you don't spoil it. And because once you get into it, God, that cardboard fucking wooden cheesy ass out of place Bill and Ted acting just takes me out of the movie every fucking time I watch it. Every scene he's not in is A plus acting, just gold. Every scene he's in, I want to turn the fucking movie off. I don't know how he became a movie star, where this is where he got his start. I have no problems with Bill and Ted. I have no problems with The Matrix. I have no problems with Keanu Reeves. But he hadn't matured as an actor yet when he did this movie. If he had made this movie after doing The Matrix, he could have pulled it off. But at this point in his career, he doesn't pull it off. So he's a big, gigantic con in the pros and cons column of this movie. That being said, I do recommend this. I rate it as a buy. You want it in your collection, but this is not a weekend watch. This is not a once a month or twice a year watch. This is if you're gonna rewatch it, it's gonna be like, I don't know, when you're having a Dracula or a vampire marathon, and you're like, oh yeah, let's just watch the different Draculas. You're gonna put it on. Or if you're just in the mood for some Gary Oldman, you're gonna put it on because Gary Oldman is a fucking acting god, and you want to see him in everything he's in. Because if you want to talk about range, Gary Oldman is the one actor that every time I see him in a movie, I have to look him up on IMDb. I never know it's him until I see his name in the credits. Because you can never tell it's him until you're told it's him. He's like a goddamn chameleon. He's not an actor. He is literally Mystique. He is able to transform into whatever character he's playing. And that's a god in among theater people. He is like high bar. And I can't give any better praise than that. This movie is definitely damn worth it. You just don't want to OD on the Keanu Reeves, because you're gonna give yourself a migraine if you do. This isn't even an annual viewing for me. I watch it every maybe 10 years or so. I've seen it 3 times in my life. The last time I watched it was 2017. I'm not gonna watch it again for a good while. But I do own the DVD. It is a beautiful movie. The cinematography is beautiful. The aesthetic. When I'm talking about like the set dressing, the production design. The sets, the costumes. Not so much. It looks out of place. You know, it doesn't look like you know Pleasantville, where it was made in 1998, but you believe it's 1956. This movie, it's like made in 1992, but you're like, Was it supposed to be 1946? Was it supposed to be 1992? Is it supposed to be 1887? I don't know. This movie doesn't look like any of the time periods it's supposed to look like. It just looks off, and I don't like that. But it is a buy. It is a good movie. I highly recommend it. I just don't want you to watch it too much because Keanu Reeves is a hard pill to swallow, and he doesn't have Morpheus to give him the correct pill yet.